This is your, how can you put, Joel Klatt, Ohio State ahead of Oklahoma?
Well, one is I've seen them both. I've done both of their games, and Ohio State's just the better team.
Yep.
Now, listen, my rankings are my rankings, right? They are subjective, and they don't really matter. I will tell you, those are the 4 best teams in the country as I see them. Oklahoma played a phenomenal game against Ohio State, and I know a lot of the Sooner fans can't stand that I've done this. Mayfield's been tremendous. I think he's been the best player in college football, the most important player in college football. But what Ohio State is doing right now, listen, they just took the number 2 team in the country. Ohio State played really poorly and
for about
still
10
won.
minutes. Yeah, I mean, they were awful in the first quarter.
If I told you that a team was going to have a 6 versus 2 matchup and they're going to allow a kickoff return for a touchdown, another kickoff return for 60 yards to set up a short field, a turnover to set up a short field, they were going to kick 2 field goals in the red zone, they were going to go for it on 4th down in the scoring zone and not get it, you'd say, oh, they're going to lose the game. But Barrett was brilliant, and he brings them back. And by the way, just publicly, J.T. Barrett should be not only in the Heisman race, but right or near the top. J.T. Barrett's been fantastic.
Yeah, I'm so tired of people banging on J.T. Barrett.
Yeah, I mean,
if I have to hear
wrong.
another Bama fan say you can't win a national title with J.T. Barrett, you want a couple with Greg McElroy. Okay, by the way, and Jalen Hurts and the kid a couple years ago, Blake Alabama
Sims.
Blake Sims, who not an NFL quarterback. Come on.
Jacob Coker won the national championship.
You quarterback in the NFL, you can't win without it. At the college level, if you accumulate enough great talent,
which Ohio State has,
you can run and play defense and win 11 games.
Yeah, listen, I don't think Alabama, speaking of Alabama, it's so interesting how they're viewed because, Colin, they are given the benefit of the doubt, which is fine. They've been dominant. I have them right up. They have looked like the best team in the country to me. They're the most balanced team. They have not shown the weaknesses. Now, their schedule has been atrocious. It's been atrocious. And if you're going to knock Wisconsin for not having played anybody or their schedule is no good, then knock Alabama, right? Just have the same consistency. In fact, did you know that if you compare the schedule makeup, the schedule makeup of the top 10 teams, the easiest schedule makeup is Alabama of the top 10.
Because they've had a bye,
not just a bye. Think of it this way. The schedule is made up with, who are our Power 5 opponents? Who are our Group of 5 opponents? And are we going to have an FCS opponent? Okay, right? That's what you're thinking of as an athletic director because you don't know if BYU is going to be 10-2 or 2-7. Right, you can't win. In 2012, when Wisconsin schedules the BYU game, BYU was a 10-win program. So now all of a sudden you're going to get knocked because BYU is having a down year. That's not necessarily Wisconsin's fault. So what do you look at? What should you look at? Not necessarily win-loss record of the teams that specific year, but what do you control as an athletic director and as a school? Schedule makeup. How many Power 5 teams, how many Group of 5 teams, how many FCS opponents are you going to have on your schedule? Alabama is the only team in the top 10 with 9 Power 5 games, 2 Group of 5 teams, and an FCS. There's 5 teams in the top 10 that have an FCS opponent, but they've got 10 Power 5 games scheduled. It's the easiest schedule makeup. They actively schedule the easiest of anybody in the country and get away with it.
By the way, you ever notice this with Nick Saban, these opening games?
Yeah, they're great.
They never play them on the road.
Never on the road. Did you also know that Alabama has played the fewest number of non-conference true road games in the country since 2007?
Never gets talked about at the other network.
Do you know how many?
How many?
This is good. Throw a number out. True road games in the non-conference. How many games?
In 10 years?
In 10 years.
4.
2.
Sad.
2 genuine non-conference road games that Alabama has played. Now, they play in the neutral sites, and that's great. I'll commend them for it. But again, schedule makeup has got to be looked at, not just what is your schedule for this year. And that's where I think that the committee gets it a little bit wrong because what do you control as an athletic director? Schedule makeup, not what the records are going to be in any given year.
You're really on Notre Dame. And I think they're a one-dimensional team. They can't pass the football. I think they'd be bludgeoned by Ohio State. Why are you so high on Notre Dame?
Well, I'm also very high on Georgia, and I saw those two teams play toe-to-toe in a one-point game. I saw Notre Dame have a lot of chances in that game, in particular late.
They led with 2 minutes left.
They led. Wimbush had a couple of series late in that game where they could have gone down and kicked the field goal and actually won the game. there are a couple of things that I just think travel in football, right? Any level of football. If you can play great defense and you can run the ball, that travels through weather, that travels through home and road. And this is the 6th best rushing team in the country. And they just took 2 teams that were ranked and pretty good teams, USC and North Carolina State, and bludgeoned them.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't even close. That run game, that offensive line, Mike McGlinchey is a fantastic left tackle. Josh Adams should be getting some Heisman love. Wimbush can throw enough. He's not a great thrower of the football, but I don't think he's got to be. Going back to our conversation previously here, Colin, you don't have to have a great quarterback to be a successful program. Wimbush is probably not a great thrower, but he's a terrific runner. And I just think toughness-wise, mentality-wise, I think Notre Dame is for real. I will not be shocked if they're in the playoff come the end of the year.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd, or go watch a few segments from the newest show on FS1, First Things First, with Chris Carter and Nick Wright.